Righto, thanks for all coming, good turnout. I think I'll talk about a problem where there's very little or no planning other than an agenda by a small amount. If you look at the Robbins Island wind farm project, Aboriginal impacts, the 8 tribes of the northwest, that's where they converge every October. They're all gone. They want to put the biggest wind farm in the southern hemisphere on that side. We've got the largest migratory shorebird habitat in the state in Robbins Passage. 10,000 migratory shorebirds come here each year to do the thing. There's 10 or 11 other places protected in the state, yet the largest one in the state is not. The impacts on forestry, farms, tourism vistas, this would have to be one of the classic examples of lack of planning, lack of community input. Then you look at the salmon farms. There wasn't one fisherman in this state that had involvement with that growth plan. And they still can't tell me who specifically did that growth plan. The salmon farm companies tell me that they had no part in it. So here we have a couple of examples of lack of planning, lack of community input, and lack of understanding of the values associated with these areas. And it gets back to money. Unfortunately for us, we live in one of the most beautiful, scenic, rich, vibrant places on the planet, and when you're in something like that, you're in a minority, and then people want part of it, then they throw these grand plans and with total exclusion from the community. We found out about the salmon farm plan in the evening news. You know, that is totally unacceptable. Community and councils have to have first-hand knowledge of what's coming into our areas. It's vitally important because it divides us. And you know, Ken was talking about your home and your property as being a major asset. Well, I've got an extended property. The oceans, the bush, this whole area, I've spent my whole life in. That is my property. That's how I see it. And when it's impacted by these people doing grand plans without community consent, without any input from us, without any skin in the game, we have to be really, really up and about this. I don't think I've lived in the time where I've seen more idiotic projects, poorly thought out, without people with the skin, to get good outcomes for us. So planning is super, super important. It is everything. It's our lifestyle. You know, it's community. I had a football coach come up to me at my first political, whatever you call it, where you tell them what they want to hear or whatever, you know, ask questions. And he said to me, Kuda, because that was my nickname at the time, he said, it's all about sense of community and raw honesty. And what we have right now, there is no sense of community with the people that are running the state, and there is no honesty, and when you don't have honesty, you don't have trust. And if you don't have trust, you don't have the consent of the community. And you cannot live like this. You'll see fracture, 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 and we'll become more and more divided. And the only ones that benefit out of this are the two parties. As long as we're divided, they prosper. It's coming to a time where people have to stand up and make a big call. And I hold a lot of faith in the Braden electorate, because we're the biggest swingers in the country. We get sick of one lot, we throw the other in. Now we are approaching a time that we throw both those lots out and we send a loud message, not only to the political system in this state, but Australia in general. We're a staunch community, we always have been, we've always helped each other, we've come from adversity, we've had pandemics, depressions, 2 world wars, and then we've come out of that period. We created community through that sense of, you know, we had to work together to survive, to eat, to get our families fed. And now we've sort of gone away from that. We have to come back together, and planning is the catalyst for that. That is the starting point. And I would ask you all to give it serious thought and let everybody know that we have to think in the best interest of us in this place, because if we don't, we're going to lose a lot of things that are very, very special and that don't exist anywhere else in the world. So we used to have a very vibrant, small, local-based fishery right along the northwest coast, and they were small mesh fishermen. In about 1990, they started relocating seals from salmon farms, which basically shut us down. That went on for 30 years. We tried to stop them. Right now, my focus is getting recognition of those small mesh fishermen and using the old age demographic within that sector to get some young people out here and providing fish in the rivers and in the local communities like it used to be. We have quite a lot of encouraging things going on in our fisheries. We've got emerging fisheries with our King George whiting, we've got our snapper, which are now everywhere now, we've got kingfish, we've got seen a whole shift and change within our oceanic inshore waters along this coast. But right now, there's no focus on a plan, so to speak, to get access to the community, to the fish that they own. It's been very difficult. It's been part of the reason why I stood in 3 elections in 18 months, because of the threat to those fish stocks that are on the threshold now of, well, the King George whiting, they're breeding here. We've got our own genetic stock. We've had 2 or 3 good year classes of recruits coming through, and we're right on the cusp now of looking at that fishery to determine the best way to manage that for the community and also the fishermen concerned. So, you know, there's quite a bit of work that we can do. The fish are there, the fishermen are there. We've got an old demographic. We've got kids standing on street corners with nothing to do, and my fishery would be one of the easiest, small cost, entry-level fisheries if we were to focus and do a plan and develop a policy on getting people access to the fish that they own. So everything's positive, but it's just being held in limbo due to the lack of recognition, due to the ignorance of the problems that were caused to us by seal relocations. People thought they all swam back to Hobart. Most of them did, but the fact that they dropped it here right in the middle of our spawning season from August right through to November, directly onto those inshore spawning seagrass areas. Yeah, I'm going on a bit, but yeah, we can do that. The fish are there. We've got the people there to do the job and catch them, and we've got the old demographic